We have some very dedicated and talented people within gliding. Usually at this time of year we would recognise those achievements with an award ceremony face to face. Unfortunately, due to the pandemic, that hasn't been possible. However, the achievements that have occurred over the last 18 months are still remarkable. What I hope you'll see this evening are some insights to some of the talent and some of the dedicated people that have really made our sport what it is today. I really hope that as we see the pandemic gently drifting into the past, that we're able to really embrace and enjoy our sport all the more. And for all of those that are being recognised this evening with these awards, congratulations. They're really well deserved, and you've done an awful lot to achieve those. And what I really hope is that at some point soon we're able to meet up face to face to give you the celebration that you deserve. Now, as we go forward, I appreciate it's been a very challenging time for all of our clubs, all of our sports, and all the families and friends that are involved in and around gliding. Please take care of yourselves, look after each other, and let's make sure that we have a great summer of gliding, and I look forward to seeing you all very soon.
It gives me great pleasure to present the BGA Sporting Trophies for 2020. When I look at the performances on this list, it's clear to me there was some pretty good weather following the end of lockdown last year. But not only there was good weather, there was clearly an appetite to attempt some pretty ambitious tasks and execute them on the day. All the winners of these trophies thoroughly deserve these awards for their performances. The BGA 1000 kilometre trophy for the fastest flight of over 1000 kilometres was not awarded for 2020. The winner of the Enigma Trophy for the Open National Ladder was Andy Aveling of Lasham with 30,921 points. Congratulations, Andy. Whenever I put in a decent performance myself and upload it to the ladder, then have a look at the daily scores, your name is always at the top of the list. Don't do it again. The winner of the Firth Vickers Trophy for second place on the Open National Ladder was Ian MacArthur of Lasham with 29,229 points, showing what a closely fought competition this was last year. The winner of the El Dugard Peach Trophy for the weekend National Ladder was Ed Downham of London Gliding Club with 26,079 points. Congratulations, Ed. The winner of the Slingsby Trophy for second place on the weekend National Ladder was Phil Jones of Lasham with 23,846 points. Congratulations, Phil. The winner of the Spitfire Trophy for the junior ladder was Finn Slee of Lasham with 22,656 points. Congratulations, Finn. The winner of the Chris Wills Trophy for the wooden ladder was Adrian Enck of Lasham with 21,106 points. Well done, Adrian. How you sit there in that K6 for so long, it beats me. Congratulations. The winner of the University Ladder was Imperial College London. Congratulations, Imperial College. It's a pity your colleagues didn't do so well in University Challenge. The winner of the Wakefield Trophy for the longest handicap distance was Paul Fritsch of Lasham with 827.7 kilometres flown in his LS8 on the 20th of July 2020. That was an actual distance of 827.7, and the task was Lasham Finish North, Hereford Cathedral, Swainsthorpe, Cirencester Church, Staining to Parham Northwest. The winner of the Furlong Trophy for the longest handicap triangle was Ed Downham of London Gliding Club. On the 3rd of August last year, he flew 653.5 kilometres at 100.1 kilometres per hour. That was an actual distance of 758.1 kilometres in his EB28. The task was Leighton Buzzard North East, to St Catherine's Point, to Newtown, to Banbury, March, and then back to Dunstable Airfield. Congratulations, Ed. The winner of the California in England Trophy for the longest handicap free distance by a female pilot was Liz Sparrow of Lasham. On the 11th of July last year, Liz flew 679.5 kilometres at 93.9 kilometres per hour, an actual distance of 754.2 kilometres in her ASG 29. The task was Lasham Start South, Ludlow, Arundel, Hereford Racecourse, finishing at Lasham Finish North. Congratulations, Liz. The Rex Pilcher Trophy for the earliest diamond distance goes to James Hiley, South Down Gliding Club, for his diamond distance on 30th of May 2020, shortly after the lockdown finished. Congratulations, James. I'm sure you couldn't wait to get on with it. The winner of the Goldsborough Trophy for the highest placed pilot in the recent World Championships was Ayala Truelove. Ayala achieved the bronze medal in the Women's World Gliding Championships in 2019. Congratulations, Ayala. It was a tough competition for you and you did really well. The winner of the Phil Lever Trophy for the most promising junior pilot is Finn Slee. The citation reads as follows. Demonstrated by some impressive flights on the BGA ladder, as well as performance in competitions such as the 2019 Junior World Championships, Finn has shown that he is a junior pilot with a high level of promise for future competitive performance, both for the remainder of his junior career and as he progresses into senior flying. Finn's promise was obvious from his first taste of competition flying, scoring greater than 1,000 points as an all-concours entry. From there, Finn has progressed through the ranks of the British junior squad and is now a fully fledged member of the British junior team, bringing home a silver medal in 2019. Congratulations, Finn. From the rest of us senior pilots, could you please remain a junior for considerably longer time? The winner of the NAB Boys Albatross Trophy for the highest score in the weekend ladder in a glider without MOP was Richard Hood of Lasham with 22,815 points. Congratulations, Rich. That was a great effort and just shows that people can fly without an engine. The winner of the Flight Deck Wingman Pure Sword Trophy for the highest score on the open ladder in a glider without MOP is Paul Fritsch of Lasham with 27,093 points. Once again demonstrating that you can put in some pretty good performances in a glider without an engine. The winner of the Vault Trophy for the longest handicapped out and return was Tim McFadden of Bristol and Gloucestershire Gliding Club. On the 29th of July, Tim achieved a handicap distance of 544 kilometres at 76.9 kilometres per hour in his Arcus. That was an actual distance of 582.1 kilometres. The task was out and return from Nymphsfield West to Great Yarmouth South, returning to Nymphsfield Finish West. Congratulations, Tim. The winner of the Seeger Trophy for the longest handicap distance in a two-seater was Andy Aveling of Lasham. On the 21st of July, Andy flew 754.5 kilometres handicap distance at 109.7 kilometres per hour. That was an actual distance of 807.3 kilometres. The task was Lasham Church to Havant South to Folkestone, Widden Down to Oxford South, and then return to finish at Lasham Church. Congratulations, Andy. The winner of the Frank Foster Trophy for the fastest handicap 500 kilometres is Sant Cervantes of Scottish Gliding Union. On the 11th of October, Sant achieved 114.7 kilometres per hour around a task distance of 512.3 kilometres, an actual speed of 112.4. The flight was carried out in his trusty Discus, and the task was St. Fillan's, Montrose, Glenfalloch, Montrose, St Phillips. Congratulations, Sant. The winner of the Mallender Trophy for the fastest handicapped 300 kilometre flight is once again Sant Cervantes of Scottish Gliding Union. On the 4th of February 2020, Sant achieved a speed of 144.9 kilometres per hour around a task distance of 327.4 kilometres. That was an actual speed of 142 kilometres per hour. The flight was once again carried out in his trusty Discus, and the task was Monsey, Crianlarich to some coordinates somewhere in Scotland, to Killin to Monsey. I do apologise if I murdered the pronunciations. Congratulations, Sant. The winner of the de Havilland Trophy for maximum gain of height was Alistair Much of Scottish Gliding Union. Alistair gained 19,803 feet on the 29th of August 2020 in his Discus 2C. That was to a maximum height of 21,938 feet from a launch from Portmoak. Congratulations, Alistair. Great climb.
Andy Davis is well known in British gliding for being a long-term regular member of the British gliding team. Andy first started flying nationals in 1976 and flew his first World Championships at Paderborn in Germany in 1981, finishing 9th in the standard class. Andy continues to represent Great Britain to the present day and will be flying the World Championships in Stendal in Germany in 2021. Andy's many FAI medals over the years include 2 gold medals, one in the standard class in 1993 and 10 years later again in 2003. Andy is and always has been a stalwart member of the Bristol and Gloucester Gliding Club at Nymphsfield and is currently its chairman. In 2013, Andy was approached and asked if he would direct the hoped-for 2016 World Championships that Lasham were planning to bid for. His immediate response was, "There's going to be a Worlds in the UK, I want to be flying it." He quickly decided, however, that directing the competition would be a worthwhile challenge and agreed, despite knowing that by doing so it would almost certainly mean that he would not be able to take up his own place as a British team member. When Lasham missed out on the 2016 World Gliding Championships by 1 vote at the International Gliding Commission plenum meeting, a second bid was put together and won for Lasham to host the 2017 European Gliding Championships, with a pre-European Gliding Championships event in 2016 as a practice run for the team. Andy, in characteristic style, put huge amounts of energy and time into the organisation of the competitions alongside Lasham's management team and volunteered team, overcoming huge obstacles such as Lasham's insistence to the IGC that the competition should and could be held alongside a normal Lasham Club members flying operation, an unheard of situation for the IGC, who would normally expect all other flying on the host airfield to cease. With Andy's superb leadership, professionalism, hard work and tenacity, his team put on a European Championship that many experienced international competitors said afterwards was the best organised and best fun international competition they'd ever flown. Great praise indeed. It is for Andy's dedication to and hard work for the success of the 2017 European Gliding Championships that the BGA Competition Committee has decided to make Andy Davis the recipient of the 2020 award for the John Hands Trophy.
Chris Gill has consistently and enthusiastically supported UK junior gliding over the past few years. He is one of our regular instructors at the Winter Series events and has kindly brought the DG 1000 with him to sites including Sutton Bank, the Long Mynd and Nymphsfield, allowing junior pilots to experience flying at new sites and in a glider type that many of them have not flown in before. Since becoming CFI of Denbigh Gliding, Chris and everyone else at Denbigh have been very supportive to UK junior gliding, hosting the Winter Series several times, putting on a Juniors Task Week in August 2020 as the Junior Nationals could not go ahead, and welcoming juniors all year round to experience flying at a wonderful ridge and wave site. Chris has helped numerous juniors to gain confidence in ridge and wave flying through both instructional flights and guiding others around the skies of North Wales in their single-seaters. Winter Series events held at Denbigh are always a joy to organise. Chris's approach to overseeing flying at Denbigh always makes for a relaxed and productive atmosphere. Furthermore, Chris has been part of the team of instructors and coaches that take part in the two-seater training at the UK Junior Nationals. Through this, Chris has given many juniors their first taste of competition flying, with his support and guidance on how to fly a competition task, how to fly in gaggles, and how to get the most out of a high-performance glider. This has given many junior pilots the confidence to sign up to fly the Junior Nationals themselves the following year. In summary, UK Junior Gliding and our events just would not be the same without Chris, and that is why he is awarded the Alex Ward Trophy this year. When the Buckminster Gliding Club needed a new CFI, Lynn volunteered with unwavering enthusiasm in the summer of 2019. The club had slowed in many ways, with members no longer making personal progression, and this was reflected in the club's achievements and membership numbers. Lynn started by developing a large chart of personal qualifications as an incentive to setting ambitious targets for their progression in the coming year. She then led a number of 5-day courses to get beginners to solo and targeted bronze and cross-country weekends aimed at solo pilots. As a result of these initiatives, and despite the COVID restrictions, from October 2019 to September 2020, the club produced 7 solo pilots, 4 bronze pilots and 5 cross-country endorsements, this record only being beaten by significantly larger clubs. There were also 16 silver legs claimed and 4 silver badges completed. 2 of the junior pilots who were able to go from solo to full silver in 7 weeks. In addition to the new emphasis on progression, Lynn has introduced welcome packs for new members and has gone out of her way to contact new members and get to know them. She rejuvenated the trial flight system with 6 new basic instructors and reorganised a roster and new briefing materials. She led 2 expeditions in 2020, the first to the Long Mynd with the UK Junior Gliding Winter Series, and a hastily organised second expedition to Denbigh in October after a COVID cancellation put Buckminster Gliding Club's existing expeditions out. She led a team to redecorate and reorganise the briefing room to make it more suitable for delivering courses, and paired the club's 5 assistant category instructors to an FI coach, herself included, and organised for 2 new aerobatic instructors to be trained. In all of this, she did more than her fair share of instruction, working consistently long hours to give the trainee pilots continuity and to get through their key stages of their training. We therefore have no hesitation in awarding Lynn Instructor of the Year. Each year, the Philip Wills Trophy is awarded by members of the Enterprise Club for the flight deemed to be the most enterprising of the year. This has sometimes been described as the flight with the biggest wow factor. On other occasions, it might be for achieving a remarkable flight that most of us wouldn't even consider. Of course, with COVID all around, getting great flights in during 2020 was a challenge for all of us. Fortunately, we had a spell of very good weather in July, and we weren't locked down, and some remarkable flights were achieved. Amongst the nominations we received was one flight that has to be mentioned, that of Sam Cool, who achieved all 3 legs of his silver distance on his first cross-country, flying from Kenley to Challock. Not the easiest of routes. With a 2,500 foot ceiling and high ground for much of the route, Sam was the clear runner-up for all of the nominations. However, there was a clear winner amongst all the flights nominated. Only the most enterprising of pilots would conceive of taking off at 11:30 in the morning to try and complete a 520k flight in a glider with a handicap of only 67. That's lower than the Slingsby Eagle or even a K8, and the same as a Via. In this case, the glider was a K-13, and the flight is thought to be the longest ever achieved in a K-13 in the UK. This year, the trophy is awarded to Dave Masson and Nigel Mallender. Thanks to David's advanced planning and superb Met forecasting, their task was easily set. 4 turn points: Eastbourne Northwest, on Bullington, Hembury Hill in Devon, and back to Lasham, 520k. The initial routing was south to the coast at Thorney Island to take advantage of the sea breeze convergence for a great run along the coast to Eastbourne and back. Their 27-to-1 glider was achieving 100-to-1 for this stretch. The route down to Hemsley Hill still had 300k to go at 3 p.m. in a K-13. Only the most enterprising would dream that it might be possible and press on. And they so nearly made it back, landing at Gilbolton just 27k short after 8.5 hours flying. They achieved 493k of the declared task and 511k on OLC thanks to the extended routing along the south coast in the sea breeze. David and Nigel deserve our hearty congratulations and the Philip Wills Trophy for this amazing flight. The BGA Challenge Trophy, the club with the most new cross-country endorsements, as proportion of the number of instructors, was won by Bannerdown Gliding Club, with 4 cross-country endorsements for 22 instructors.
In 2020, the BGA received many nominations by individuals and by gliding clubs for the recognition of those who commit so much time and energy to help the sport. The BGA awarded diplomas to the following people.
Alan joined the Air Cadets in 1961 at RAF Akrotiri in Cyprus. He soloed in 1964 at 16 years old and at RAF Holton with 613 VGS. The same year he was appointed Staff Cadet with 616 VGS at RAF Henlow. In 1968 he began taking up air experience flights and was awarded his Category C instructor's rating in 1971 and began instructional flying at 616 VGS at RAF Swanton Morley. In 1977 he was awarded his Category B instructor rating and commenced supervision of gliding operations at Swanton Morley. In 1980 he was awarded his A2 instructor's rating and was commissioned into the RAF Volunteer Reserve training as a pilot officer. He was appointed to Adjutant to Officer Commanding 616 VGS. The late Squadron Leader George Huntley, MBE, RAF, Volunteer Reserve Training. In 1989, he was appointed Officer Commanding 616 VGS with the rank of Squadron Leader, RAF, Volunteer Reserve Training. And in 1990, converted the VGS to the Vigilant, the Grog 109B, SLMG, with significant changes to the VGS operations. In 2000, Alan retired from Air Cadet Gliding and joined Neen Valley Gliding Club. He gained his basic instructor rating in 2005 and began providing air experience flights to the club's visitors and initial flying training to ab initio members. In 2013, he was made a BGA inspector and joined the club committee as aircraftsman, maintaining the club fleet. In 2017, he was awarded the BGA's Chief Engineer rating and authorised ARC signatory. To the present date, he maintains the club fleet through glider inspections, repairs and airworthiness renewals in parallel with providing flying training as a basic instructor. And he has made a major contribution to the training of ab initio pilots, gliding instructors, gliding supervision and tugging throughout his long and illustrious gliding career. He went solo in 1973 at RAF Sealand with the Air Training Corps, staying on at the gliding school to eventually become CFI, and from there joined the RAF Air Cadet Central Gliding School as a full-time professional gliding instructor, where he worked for over 20 years training and standardising gliding instructors across the ATC's then 27 gliding schools, as well as instructing ab initio pilots on courses. Alongside his professional gliding duties, he was also a very keen and committed RAF GSA club member, serving two terms as CFI at Four Counties Gliding Club and a stint as officer in charge. He is now a member at Husbands Bosworth, where he has been bar member, deputy tugmaster, and recently taken over as the CFI. He is also a BGA examiner and a CAA self-launching motor glider examiner. He is a very popular, hard-working, dependable and committed gliding club member. The club and the wider gliding movement benefit hugely from his wide experience and willingness to pass his knowledge on to the next generation in his characteristically modest way. When asked about his greatest enjoyment and most rewarding part of his gliding career, he replies it is sending solos. He estimates that he has sent over 350 first solos, and many have gone on to have very successful aviation careers. Colin Rule is a retired commercial pilot, active gliding instructor, and a member of the flying farmers community. He is one of the most experienced and practical airspace experts in general aviation. He draws on his very wide appreciation of aviation operations and monitors airspace developments for potential relevance and conflict with gliding operations. Colin provides input and advice in a number of forms. In particular, he has been a lead airspace officer for many of the national championships run at Lasham, a critical role that involves advising the task setters that will be sending in excess of more than 100 gliders into areas of the airspace and parts of the country that they do not know, anticipating potential issues and designing measures to minimise and mitigate against inadvertent airspace infringements, liaising with the airfields and negotiating with airspace authorities to arrange transit and penetration concessions for competition pilots, and providing clear, concise, comprehensive airspace briefs for all competition classes and pilot experience levels. The high regard in which Colin is held by a wide variety of airspace authorities and airfield operators means that he is able to access concessions that will be difficult to obtain otherwise, and ensure that pilots are properly equipped to complete their flights without undue risk of airspace problems. In today's gliding environment, skills and experience such as Colin's are a critical contributor to safe operation. He is a worthy candidate for a BGA award. The BGA Instructor Committee is responsible for the oversight and development of the BGA's training system and the training, appointment and support of all BGA gliding instructors. It organises instructor courses and, through its regional teams, provides support to CFIs and club instructors. The committee has been especially busy over the last decade in ensuring that the BGA played an active and influential role in the development of new licensing and training systems, while ensuring the safe and efficiency of ongoing club-level pilot training and support. Colin Sword took over as chairman of the committee several years ago, having previously served as a senior regional examiner. Colin's precise and measured approach to the organisation and running of the committee has been key to ensuring that the committee has been able to balance its delivery and development responsibilities effectively over a very protracted period of time. With less than a year to go before the new licensing rules become the default modus operandi for UK gliding, the committee's work continues, but in very good shape to ensure an ultimately successful transition. Colin has dedicated a significant proportion of his available time to his role as a key BGA volunteer. His tireless efforts, constant good humour and exceptional expertise and organisational skills have been instrumental in the smooth and effective operation of the Instructor Committee and its close working relationship with the Safety Committee. The BGA is encouraged to consider Colin for a BGA award. The Gliding Heritage Centre, or GHC, based at Lasham, was originally created following a generous bequest by Chris Wills. From nothing, the GHC now comprises 2 aircraft hangars and a recently completed workshop facility. It houses one of the most substantial collections of vintage gliders to be found anywhere in the world, most of which are still flown on a regular basis. From the start, the development, the the GHC has been a considerable volunteer effort. One member of the team, Gary Pullen, however, stands out for the leadership and sheer breadth of contribution to the GHC. Gary has been one of the architects of the vision and a key part of the team that has designed each stage in the development. He has always been on site with his sleeves rolled up, laying concrete, landscaping, erecting walls and installing equipment. He is a highly effective organiser of volunteer effort, and much of the work that has gone into the building of the two magnificent hangars and a workshop that would put most professional facilities to shame has been done by volunteers under the expert and watchful eyes of Gary and others. As a consequence of Gary's significant contribution to the effective and coherent management of volunteer input, as well as the tremendous resourcefulness required to make progress with limited resources, the GHC has moved from a vision in 2013 to a world-leading facility in 2020.
Whilst George Brown, who retired from flying in October 2019 at 84 years old, always insisted he was not a founding member of Broad Borders Gliding Club, because he joined 6 months after the club was formed, this was an indication of his modesty. He served as the club secretary for 23 years, and as safety officer, tug master, and one of the first 3 homegrown instructors. As a tug pilot, he provided more than 13,000 launches and logged more than 2,000 hours doing so. George remains an active member of Borders Gliding Club 51 years after joining. He worked tirelessly for the club, but refused the position of chairman on more than one occasion. He is now the longest serving member of Borders Gliding Club, remaining on the committee and providing sound and reasonable advice. As a stalwart of the club, George could always be relied upon to provide launches or encourage our young members, and was a fountain of knowledge. In the period when the club was fighting the planning application to build the compressor station, George, as secretary, dealt with a huge amount of paperwork and correspondence. He played a vital role in relation to the club's relocation back to Millfield, and along with Andrew Bardgett, chairman at the time, the team of George, Ian Sim, and the late David Scales all contributed to making what could have been a disaster for the club into a major success of moving to our permanent home at Millfield Airfield, securing the long-term future of Borders Gliding Club. George's knowledge from his former professional career as an RAF officer and air traffic controller has been a tremendous asset to the club and an instrumental in securing both the freedom of local airspace, enhancing flight safety, and in fostering excellent working relationships with both the military and civilian air traffic organisations. After leaving his Air Force service, George became a civilian controller, first working at home on Spalding Moor for Blackburn Aircraft. He was involved in the test flying of the Buccaneer. George joined NATS and worked initially at London Air Traffic Centre at West Drayton, before arriving at Border Radar, where he took over as senior civil controller, remaining there until Border Radar closed in 1988. He then went to Scottish Air Traffic Control at Prestwick, where he quickly became watch manager. At the time George was at Border Radar, there was a number of joint radar stations around Britain. This was before digitised radar, and for technical reasons the radar displays had to be closed to the radar heads. RAF Balmer housed a fighter interception unit and an ATC unit, which was 75% military and 25% civilian. The methods of operating were quite different and often caused friction, duly noted in the watchlog. George was very good at calming the waters and sorting out issues. He became highly regarded and trusted by our military colleagues. Crucially, he maintained those contacts, and when he left Border, he was able to promote the cause of the Gliding Club whenever possible, and help to avoid or modify potential restrictions on Millfield Airfield operations to the benefit of the club. All of this he did quietly, without fuss, as usual.
Julian Hitchcock is one of the most enthusiastic and passionate people one could meet in UK gliding. Having been bitten by the gliding bug many years ago, Julian has concentrated on helping others experience the sport. He spends most of his time flying two-seaters with others either new to gliding or early on in their development. Julian has always prioritised flying with students for training or coaching purposes over his own flying. In 2016, Julian took the bold decision to acquire a long overlooked and little used airfield by the south coast town of Bognor Regis. In the 4 years since then, Julian has invested considerable amounts of time and money in returning the airfield, its hard runway and adjoining land to pristine condition, saving it from almost certain loss to redevelopment. He has, in addition, built a new hangar and clubhouse facilities. Julian welcomes visiting powered pilots and glider pilots and is generous with his time and infectious enthusiasm. At a time when establishing a new gliding club is almost unheard of, given the difficulty of finding a suitable and affordable site, dealing with planning and other regulatory challenges and winning over local stakeholders, Julian has achieved a minor miracle in all of the interests of expanding the sport that he loves so much.
Mike Evans has been awarded a BGA Diploma for his priceless work in the restoration of the East Sussex Gliding Club's much-loved K8. He has also made a valuable contribution to the overall maintenance of the club fleet and the infrastructure of the gliding club.
During 2011, Peter was a member of a team evaluating the use of the Rotax 912UL powered Eurofox for glider towing. After a favourable evaluation, the team successfully obtained LAA approval for the Eurofox to tow gliders on a permit-to-fly aircraft. Peter was then instrumental in Banbury Gliding Club's purchasing a Eurofox kit and building it with our friend Roger Coombs. It was then used for towing duties at Hinton-in-the-Hedges airfield. This foresight resulted in Banbury Gliding Club having the first Eurofox towing gliders in the UK. The use of the Eurofox was so successful at Banbury Gliding Club that they soon sold both their Pawnee and Super Cub aircraft to Europe and to the USA. The introduction of the Eurofox was pivotal in the survival of the club by halving the launch charges of the previous aircraft. In addition, the successful introduction of the Eurofox moved the gliding movement in the UK to a much more viable position. During 2017, Peter also set up a syndicate for a second Eurofox at Banbury Gliding Club as a standby tug, with the club holding shares. Peter was elected chairman during November 2016. He retired after a 4-year term, during which time he encouraged members to develop their skills and obtain qualifications for roles in the future development of the club, moving it to a more secure position.
In 2020, the Royal Aero Club received nominations for members of the gliding community to receive awards and recognition for volunteering excellence and dedication. The Royal Aero Club gave the Bronze Award to Gary Pullen of Lashing Gliding Club and the Gliding Heritage Centre, certificates of merit to Peter Hibbard, to Craig Lowrie, to Matt Page, Roy Wilson, and the Old and Bold Trophy was awarded to Gilmore.